Yo, what's up? Just waiting for my drink, so kind of just chilling, enjoying the sun. Like, sometimes here in Utah, this is like the only amount of sun that you get is if you like go and sit in like some sun room, you know? It's so hard to get that vitamin D, so when you have the opportunity, then like make sure to take advantage of it. In a warm place where you can sort of like feel comfortable in public, where it's like there are members of society of varying ages, and so you kind of have this real ability to describe yourself and, you know, see kind of what's going on in the greater picture, maybe the picture of you that's untold so far. So important stuff. Thank you. Anybody else just love cappuccinos? I do, at least. I think they're great. Just gotta relax. I don't have to do anything. Just breathe. It's the beginning of the day. Realistically, we'll probably only be here at most for an hour. Most. So much time to change something, to allow something else to unfold. We don't have to worry about it. We can just embrace the sun, embrace the idea that we don't have to move. You can be comfortable in public. This is the time where I usually get a lot of jokers that join. I mean, yesterday we had a bunch of joke accounts join. It was kind of fun. At least usually we do, or sometimes. Yeah, cappuccino's my new drink. I used to always get like caramel macchiatos, or here they call them a caramel cello, but when I went to Italy, there was one thing that they didn't have a shortage of, and that was like tobacco and like coffee. It was so weird, like on every corner, it was like tobacco shops. It was like what we would call a 7-Eleven, right? I guess where we would have like 7-Eleven or Starbucks or something like that. It just says tobacco, tobacci, Tobacci, tobacco shop. And it's like they just have like, it's like a little shop. It just doesn't have tobacco, but or not just tobacco. Interesting people too. A lot of people that seemed like they were all lost, kind of. A lot of people that believed in like very, very like open-minded stuff, you know, like extremely open-minded. It was like almost like too open. You don't know like what demons like just get lost in such big space like that. What if heaven is the kingdom of the conscious mind? You know, I kind of think that we live in our own like creation of those things. Like a lot of people, I just think a lot of things can be taken like as a metaphor, but in real, like realistically, they kind of are true at the same time, right? So it's like, yeah, you can go to hell. Like if you make the wrong choices, life can become a hell. You know what I mean? It's basically. And you know, so a lot of those things are like warnings that people have like set up. So it's like, yeah, you'll end up there. Like you'll end up you'll end up hating life if you do too much of these things. So yeah, I think heaven can be the kingdom of the conscious mind, you know what I mean? Because it's like the idea that you're creating this experience and eventually you'll end up there. But it's like just in your later years, you know? And like, who's to say that we're not dying along the whole way if death is just change, you know, a significant difference from what we once were, kind of thing. But I also think that God is consciousness, you know? And I think that what kind of like comes up against that is like the whole thing where people say like ignorance is bliss, right? People say ignorance is bliss, but it's like, I think that love is kind of the exception to that rule. I think that with love, you can have like very exceptional feelings that instigate like a very high amount of consciousness. But negativity also does as well. And that's why I think that maybe like love conquers all, because it's just like a feeling of like euphoria or like, you know, something along those lines. But I think the love holds a very high form of consciousness, but it's not, a lot of people misinterpret the idea of love. I just think that love is very compatible with the idea of eternity. If you find something that you can do for eternity, and most things that are negative in that case, you would just be like, you know what, like this isn't comforting. I think that also you have to be aware of comforting, like love and comfort, I think are something that go very far in terms of beliefs that you can have, and also in the amount of consciousness that they have. But negativity is hard to get rid of, because negativity is like the thorn in your side, always reminding you of consciousness. But I think that if you can overcome the idea that you're missing out, the idea that thought, I read this book, like you aren't what you think, or something like that. You are not what you think. And I think that, yeah, a lot of times when you are performing at your best, it's a lot of like automatic processes. It's very automatic. So yeah, when you could I prosper in another form? You know what? I think that consciousness, like, I'm not a Bible thumper, but I have read the Bible. And the one thing the Bible does is it compares people to actually other life forms. To an extent, I think you can sort of do that. You can say like, this guy's a lion, that guy's like a crocodile, that guy's like an insect. You know, I think that the human form is something that's so like varied. It has so much complexity that it's like people can be like pigs. People can be like, you know, like falcons or eagles. I think that to an extent, this spirit of the human being is the expression of animal life and form. It doesn't necessarily say that exactly in like religious texts, but that's kind of my conclusion. That's my like theory or whatever, you know, that's my theory as to like what life is I think the human being is an expression. And so it's like some people might be like a bacteria kind of, and it's like the way that they like even take advantage of their surroundings. It's like they just go for a little poke like every once in a while, and that's all they need or whatever kind of thing. It's like, yeah, some people are like bacteria. What will I be like? I think that the Bible, again, it's like this kind of guide. That's why I think you have to take it for yourself. And I will always say that to you guys. Take all this stuff for yourself. If you're just into reading, you don't have to believe everything, but you can read it like a book, you know? But I think that it gives a lot of good pictures as to like what you should strive for. I think in the Bible, it compares God to either, the two things are like an eagle or a lion. An eagle or a lion is what God is actually compared to. So it's like, if you want to strive in some form or fashion as to like what the human expression is and try to figure that out, then you know that you should be like an eagle or be like a lion. So am I open to the idea that like if I change I might be something else? Kind of, yeah, but it's hard to exactly say what the soul is, because you're still the same person, but you've changed so much over the years. That's why I like to say that the soul isn't without mystery. As soon as you sound 100% confident, then I think you've taken away the aspect of the soul and you're pure physical, like that's purely physical. But I think the ultimate thing that has like a soul that is like represented as the most physical thing, it's like a rock. Have you guys ever just taken your hand and put your hand up against just a big rock? I think that there's a spirit of like density to that, and it might be just like there's some sort of aspect which is the absence of soul, but I think it's held in the hand with like some great immense object like a rock. The next time you get the experience, if you're outside or something like that and you ever come across like just a giant rock, you know what I mean? And the Bible does say that as well. And I wasn't even referencing it. This was from my own experience. It's just like, you know, the Savior is a rock or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I am the rock kind of thing. Or he says like, Peter is his rock or whatever. But just go and like put your hand up against just a giant like boulder or like wall or something like that of stone. I think a boulder works better because you can kind of see around it. And I think that what you see has like an interpretation of what you think and everything as to what you do and feel and what you are. So try to find something that's big, but at the same point in time, it's like separated from other things, and just put your hand up against it and just embrace the idea of how solid it is. It's unwavering, this thing that's unchanging. So I think you can also be like a rock. And I think a rock is probably the most physical representation of the soul there is. But you have to believe that, like I said, these ideas that, you know, the soul is something that is experiencing all the senses. And so you find something that allows your whole body to mimic something that's isolated like that, yet it stands the test of time. Then as soon as you touch upon that, you can feel how sturdy and strong it is. Life has strength to it as well. Life isn't just all air. Life isn't just all mystery. But if you take away the mystery, it's probably going to be something as useless as a rock, but it's still grand. But I think, again, what I was saying was, don't take away mystery from the soul. You have to have the unknown intertwined into yourself. There's a part of you that's unknown because you are connected to everything, yet you don't know everything. So there's a part of you which you can't decipher. It's the part of yourself which is your true self, but maybe one day we'll know it. I'm not sure. Maybe when we become like a rock. Then the point in time when the soul and the body can become one. But it's only in the afterlife or something. You know, so who knows, Big Smoka? That's what I think, so. if this stuff resonates with you, feel free to save this video or clip the video in certain parts or whatever. YouTube gives you that ability, you know what I mean? Like, you can go into like my channel and my videos and like clip certain sections if they are things that you want to remember or they resonate with you or whatever, and you can make a playlist out of them and stuff. But that's what I think. And hopefully I was able to give you a better picture, and you can re-listen to that, and so it makes more and more sense, you know? Because hopefully I was able to go off in the distance but retain like the roots of the discussion at the same time. So I think everything's like a tree in the end, kind of. You just try to dig deep, but at the same point in time you have to like keep it light, which is to be basic, to understand where it was going originally. Underground is like the unknown, and a root is searching for that, but the light is true. And so you have to be true to yourself and true to what's going on, just as much as you're aware of trying to extend and create something deeper, some deeper meaning. And I think all life is connected. So to describe some emotion or personality to objects, I think can be true to an extent. You just might have to remove some mystery, and then you might just have to be as basic as a tree and say basically what it is, which is like speaking silence. Speaking silence is just speaking what things are. It's a chair, nothing more. So anyways, guys, like this is a really good part of the day. You just, like I said, here in Utah, it looks sunny and whatever outside, but guys, it is freezing out there. I just walked from outside and I was like, this is cold. This is freezing cold. Like, see your breath in the air, you know what I mean? Like, you might be able to see some exhaust out of these vehicles, but it is so cold. Like, just being able to have a part of time in my day, being able to come and just sit in the sunlight for 20, 30 minutes or whatever, you know? It's like such a immensely helpful thing to do. Treat yourself a little bit, guys. You have to do what is comfortable and what is pleasurable every once in a while. It's almost like being basic. You can be basic. It's okay. You don't have to understand everything all the time. You can do what feels good, feels right. Just understand the lines, and usually the lines begin when another person, or when you end and another person begins. That's usually where the lines are drawn in life. You have to understand another individual, another person, and understand that as long, like, you can go and do things that feel right to you in your world, but understand as soon as you come to the place where you're confronting another entity, you have to be careful and understand the lines that are no longer, you know what I mean? Like, it might be you, if everything is everything, but it's the part of you that knows you have to be strong. You have to have this pain sometimes and this suffering or whatever. We did it this morning. We got over with it, like, and it's healthy. We went and ran a mile in 10 minutes and we pushed through it, even though it kind of hurt, you know, but it took 10 minutes and we were done. Done and over with. It's been a pretty good chat here. Big Smoka, did you see any of that Dark Souls? I like tried that first boss forever, and I found out that like people skip that first boss, like the Guardian of the Tree or the Tree Knight or whatever. But I definitely need to find a bow and arrow, man, because if I don't, I'm screwed. Like, I can take down like most of the enemies that have like horrible poise, you know, like people that like you can just repeatedly hit and like they don't necessarily block or have a full coverage. But for those guys who do like have that, I definitely need like some distance or some range. So my next stream is gonna be like searching for a bow and arrow. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna like farm an area, see if I can't get a bow and arrow, because I have to like have some way to like get people at a distance, you know? I can't just try to like confront everybody with the sword, because most of the enemies, like I can dodge and like get lucky and dodge up to like 10 times or whatever, but as soon as I'm trying to dodge like 30 or 40 times and like not have it be a perfect run, things get pretty dicey. My odds go down exponentially. So I need to find a bow and arrow. Or at least a crossbow. I think some of the enemies have a crossbow, so. Find one of those, but it's been fun. It's like like a totally, it's a difficult game, you know? Like, and it's gonna be a test. Like, I kind of thought I was just gonna go into it and just like be okay at it and be good at it, but no, I'm gonna have to like figure some stuff out or change my method. I can't just keep trying to do the same thing over and over, you know. I gotta try and practice or something. Like, it's just, you have to be perfect. And like every enemy has like 3 or 4, especially the ones with like great poise. Every one of those enemies has like 3 or 4 different styles of attack. And so it's like hard to predict what attack they're gonna do. They like twitch or whatever, you know, and they're gonna do something, but as soon as they do, it's like it could be any one attack. And then they have like attacks that are like have different waiting periods before their swing actually comes in contact with you. They have a delay. They have attacks with different delays, and it's hard to predict which one they're gonna use. So it's like I'd rather take somebody down like from afar and then come in close. You know, I don't feel like I'm doing anything manipulative there. It's like the bow and arrow was something that was an indispensable weapon in those ages, so why not take that as a hint? You know, I need something else. And I'm not quite good enough to dodge everything perfectly. Like like a really good Elden Ring or Dark Souls player, so hopefully my jokes can like get me through that, you know? So I try to always have like jokes and things that I'm continually doing, but I made some progress. I figured out how to level up and whatever else. So anyways, guys, the stream's kind of dying down. And stuff, but don't know what else to talk about. Yeah, that's what's on my mind today. A little bit of like, I gotta make sure that I don't push myself too hard with my exercising, you know, as well. Like you can overdo it at the gym. You can overdo that. So I got to be kind of careful about that. But anyways, I might be going to the gym today at like 1 or 12 or something. So I'm gonna go and get started on my next Elden Ring stream. So if you guys want to come join me for Elden Ring, then I'll see you there in like 20 minutes or something. All right, guys? Like 10, 20 minutes. But thanks for joining. You know what I mean? Like I can use this part of my stream to like calm down and stuff. And I'm gonna put this stream in one of my playlists, educational, because I feel like this was a really educational stream. Thanks, Big Smoka, for that direction there. Kind of like my guide a little bit, if you didn't know that. But anyways, guys, I'll see you later, and